Good morning. It is Tuesday morning. This is Chat with Chap, and I am your host, Ginger Wade. Thank you for joining me today. It is Q&A day, and our questions are a little bit light this month. So I have a few other things I'm going to share with you, which I think I'll share with you first. So I'm so glad you're with me here today. I do want to thank all of you who have commented and liked and subscribed on our other videos, previous videos. Thank you for your encouragement. I hope that you are getting the encouragement and the equipping that you need with these videos that I share to try and, clear things up about the law, give you biblical encouragement, answer your questions, introduce you to new people. It's our heart just to help to fulfill some needs that you have and some questions that you need answered out there in the homeschool community. I'm going to apologize if you hear that noise. There's trucks outside my house. There's construction right on the street outside my house, and they're just really noisy. So apologize for the background noise, but let's just keep plowing on. So if you are really benefiting from these and sharing them with others, please like and subscribe. Encourage others to do the same. You can do that on YouTube, Spotify, and there's comments. You can comment everywhere. You can comment on the Spotify podcast too. We would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear about anything that you would like to hear me talk about, or someone you might want to hear me interview. So we do have a lot going on here with CHAP right now. Lots of folks have reached out and desire to volunteer, so that's really exciting. So we're working on onboarding some new folks and having a more solidly built team to support your needs. So that's really exciting. Along that line, I will talk about that in a minute, but I was looking for testimonials. I would love to hear how CHAP has encouraged you, how CHAP has connected you with others, how CHAP has equipped you with the information you need to homeschool and the encouragement you need to just keep going the next day. So if you have anything you'd like to share, you can email me at staff@chaponline.com, or you can comment below, or like if you're listening on a podcast or YouTube, just leave us a comment, leave us a question. It could be a one-liner. It could be, if it's longer, you could email me a story. We would love to have your testimonials. We're going to be sharing those at the end of November, just so people can see how CHAP has been encouraging you guys out there. It's good to know. It's good to know that others are being encouraged. It's good to know how they're being encouraged. And honestly, when you hear about how people are being encouraged, then you feel like you're not alone, because you need encouragement too, right? So it's good to hear the stories from other people. So if you have something you'd like to share with us, we would love to hear your stories. So again, you can email at staff@chaponline.com. You can inbox us here on Facebook too, if you'd like, or leave a comment on any of the videos or podcasts that you listen to. So that was the first thing. Next, there's so many of you asking about convention, and that is really encouraging to us. I know we're a little bit late to the game this year, but we do have plans going on. We haven't given an exact date. It's looking like it's going to be mid-June, and the reason is because we don't have everything signed yet. So you always want to wait to say for definite sure until things are signed, but it's looking like mid-June, 13th through the 15th. So we will have more definites on that coming up in the near future for you, I promise. So other things I wanted to mention is, if you would like to be part of this team that is encouraging homeschoolers across the state, I encourage you. And you know what? I have a volunteer who just reached out to me from New Jersey, and I'm so excited. She's gonna be working with me, and I'll be introducing to you before next month is out too. So I'm not going to tell too much about that right now here. But if you are looking to join our team to encourage homeschoolers, and honestly, you don't even have to be in Pennsylvania. If you just want to be part of a team that is founded on Scripture, believes in Jesus, loves Jesus with their whole lives, and wants to encourage other parents and other people to be training their children to follow Christ in all of life, we would love to have you join us. So I'm just going to read a few things that we're looking for right now. We are looking for an advertising coordinator. We do have people that advertise with us, so someone to organize the getting of the ads and getting them scheduled. Social media assistant was kind of like an ambassador, someone who would like to be out in other groups, maybe pointing people to CHAP in those other groups on Facebook. We are also looking for convention-related folks. It could be something really tiny, like helping us organize the parking or helping us organize the meals. Or it could be a bigger role, like registration, how to handle registration. You could be a, what does this say? Program coordinator. Oh, that's making our program, putting our program together with all the information in it that we need for that nice booklet that you get when you get there. Children's program stuff, graduation stuff. So young entrepreneur section in the vendor hall. So there's tons of things that could be done in convention. So if you're interested in supporting us and supporting homeschoolers there. We also have email and phone that we man that we would love to have more help doing that. So if you are knowledgeable about the law in Pennsylvania, and you have lots of ideas and information about just how to do the homeschooling thing, and you want to be able to help people, we are also looking for people who might be interested in answering emails, answering phone calls, that type of thing. So, but there's even more than what I listed. That's just like scratching the surface. So if you have interest in being part of our team, we would love to have you be with us. It is really fun to serve together, and we enjoy all the people we get to meet through this way. So enough of all that stuff. Let's get into the questions. So we've got a few. Very interesting. So one came in from Mississippi. I was like, wow, someone's watching from Mississippi. It's so cool to see where people are watching from. But someone wrote in from Mississippi and saw the information about Schoolhouse teachers. So if you haven't seen, every once in a while we will post about schoolhouseteachers.com. We have affiliation with them. So they are giving a great discount on their Schoolhouse teachers. Full bundle. I mean, they have the K through 12 package deal there online. Good, solid biblical stuff. They are giving a discounted price of $179 for your household, which is incredible. And the cool thing about that is when you sign up for that, CHAP gets supported in that. Schoolhouse Teachers is very generously splitting that with us so that we can continue our mission to serve you guys. So if you are interested in Schoolhouse Teachers, the cool thing is that you do not need to live in the state of Pennsylvania to use it. You can use CHAP's code. CHAP will still get a part of that purchase. And you can use it wherever you are. So I thought that was super awesome. So if you see one of those posts that Courtney puts out there and it gives the information about Schoolhouse Teachers through CHAP, you, no matter where you are more than welcome to use it. So that was really cool. I did not know that was the case. So I was excited that I learned that. So thank you, viewer from Mississippi. Okay, so someone else wrote in again. I think I mentioned this earlier, but asked where the magazine was. So if you've been around CHAP for a long time, you may not know, but CHAP has been around since 1986. Our name became CHAP in 1994. We were actually known as Lucia, which is a Lancaster-based group started in 86. But we started a magazine. We had a print magazine. It was really great. And it was like in libraries and it went to members and stuff like that. But we have turned it into a digital magazine at this point. It is on chaponline.com. If you look for articles, on our website, that is where the website is now, where the CHAP magazine is now, and we do link to articles in our e-news, so it keeps you clued in as to the articles that are posted out there into our magazine. But it went digital, so if you want to know when the articles come out, you're going to want to subscribe to our e-news. Again, you can go to chaponline.com. Under the resources tab, if you look under multimedia, you'll see articles. That's where all of our articles get posted. So you can go back and see previous articles and stuff like that. So it is all still there. We are still doing the magazine. It's just in a digital format. So someone asked about how do I do a transcript? So if you are unaware of homeschoolpennsylvania.org, that site covers all of our law stuff. Okay, it has the actual text of the law from the law itself, just plain, with no interruption, no explanation, just the law is there so you can read it yourself. But then the rest of the website does explain all the little pieces of the law. There's little sections that explain it, and then there's little explainer videos that I've recorded, some with Dee, some by myself. And then there's lots of forms. There's even a forms page that lists all the forms that you can use, the affidavit, the unsworn declaration, the objectives, etc., etc. On there is a transcript generator. So there is a page that explains diplomas and transcripts and all that stuff. There is a transcript generator on homeschoolpennsylvania.org. So you can use that to fill in the grades, the classes and the grades that your children had, and it'll automatically generate that transcript for you. So I had someone write in who said their kids attended other schools previously, and then they decided to homeschool a little bit later in senior high. So they were at other schools, maybe their freshman and sophomore years, and they were wondering, what did they do with the grades that they acquired at those schools? So that you would go to those schools and you would say, hey, can you please give me the transcript for my child for their freshman and sophomore year? So they should generate you a transcript, and then you have it. And then you would use our transcript generator to build the transcript for the last 2 years of school. So you could have like 2 separate transcripts there. And then like whatever you would get from the school, I would make sure you have copies of it, unless they give you a soft copy and you print copies. But if they give you a print copy, you want to make multiple copies of it. So you're sure that if you send one off somewhere to some college or something somewhere, that you still retain at least one copy of the transcript at home for yourself for future use. So that is what you can do with transcripts. And the transcript generator is great. It has a page that explains how to use it. So it's not just this thing and you're like, what do I do with it? The first sheet in that spreadsheet actually explains how to use it. The second sheet, you fill in your information, and the third sheet is the transcript itself. So it's really nicely done. Okay, so the fourth question for today says, this is regarding who it is that has the diploma. So if you're looking at your affidavit, your unsworn declaration, one of the parts of the law, in there's a statement in those documents that says the supervisor has a high school diploma or a equivalent, which would be a GED. Okay, so the person who's responsible for the homeschool, the supervisor, has to have a diploma, a high school diploma. So the question that came in was, may the husband have the diploma, but the wife be the teacher? So maybe the wife doesn't have the GED, but the husband does. Can the husband file as the supervisor and the wife do the teaching? And the answer is yes, because the supervisor is acting as the responsible person for the children. And then the supervisor, makes the decision with the spouses, or makes the decision how the children are going to be educated. You as a supervisor get to choose the teachers. It could be through an online class like Schoolhouse teachers. It could be through a co-op where you're delegating to other local teachers. It could be yourself. It could be your spouse who's doing the teaching. So the supervisor is the one who's assuming the responsibility for the children's education. And yes, as long as the supervisor has a high school diploma, the spouse could teach the children even if they don't have a high school diploma, because the supervisor is being responsible for the children. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. Great. Let's move on to our last question. Actually, I have 2 more questions. Okay, so we had a lot of paperwork questions coming in, people filing their paperwork and wondering where it goes. So they were wondering, how do I hand it in? Where do I take it? What do I do with this paperwork? So I have all these questions here. I'm going to pop around on my questions. The first one was like, where does it go? Like, I have this affidavit. I have the objectives, I have the immunization paperwork. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? Do you get my paperwork? So we do not get your paperwork. It's actually your local school district. So whichever school district you're in, if you just moved in, you got to find out what school district you live in and where the district office is, and your paperwork actually goes to the superintendent of that school district. Now, many times we do not hand our paperwork directly to the superintendent. There's usually a homeschool coordinator at your district office who will receive your paperwork, and I guess I don't know what they do with it after that. The superintendent checks it out, or the assistant to the superintendent checks it out, or whatever, but it's supposed to go to the superintendent of the school district, so that's where it goes. So then they were wondering how it should go. You can mail it. It is suggested that you do use certified mail so that you can verify, make sure that it gets there without question. I have a friendly school district. They're friendly to homeschoolers at my school district. So I go in and I hand them my paperwork so I see that it got there. I know there's some people who go in, hand it in, and ask for a receipt. Yes, I received your paperwork, so they can have it in their files. Again, I've never had a problem with my school district. They've never lost my paperwork. But there are school districts that do. I'm not sure, it might get to a wrong pile or gets just lost somewhere. And they might come to you and say, well, there's no paperwork, whatever. And you say, but I did. And so if you had a receipt, then you could say, look, I did. You signed it. So you could get a receipt if you send certified mail, then you would definitely have that. During COVID, they were receiving things over email. And I think they're still doing that, but I don't know that email is the way you want to go, because where does it go? I mean, sometimes things just disappear into I don't know where. So that one's a little bit harder. I think the mailing it in or walking it in is a little more concrete. You can be sure that they get your paperwork. So, of course, they're asking about medical records and filing. This particular question was actually just about, do my children need to have physicals before I file my paperwork? So they had just moved into the area. They didn't establish a relationship with a pediatrician yet. They hadn't gotten the kids to the doctors, and they were wondering if that meant they couldn't homeschool yet. No, you can homeschool. Once you file the affidavit and the objectives, you are good to go. The intent is that you get the medical care and the dental care done during the course of the school year at some point in time. So that is what the deal is there with the timing of the medical care. You do not have to have all the physicals and stuff done before you hand your paperwork in. It's as long as it's done during the course of the school year, that is fine. So you don't have to wait to start homeschooling before that is done. Let's see what the other question here was about sample objectives. They were asking if I had a sample. We do have sample objectives on homeschoolpennsylvania.org. And you know what? It's not just a sample. You can use it. All of our stuff says sample on it, but you can use all of the stuff that we have there is there for you to use. Now, our objectives have both elementary and secondary on one sheet. So you kind of have to copy the side that you need and paste it into its own document. But you can use it as it is. And just put the child's name on the top and you are good to go. Of course, a question came in about immunization records. And as far as that goes, for anyone who does not follow the schedule as it goes, as it is suggested, it's like, however many vaccines it's up to now, but I know people who spread out the schedule. If you're doing that, or if you don't vaccinate at all, you're definitely going to want to use an exemption. Folks who do get the full, it was an interesting question. Someone had a fully vaccinated child, but didn't want to release the records to the school. So there, you could use the exemption too, just because you're keeping the records private, but you are testing the exemption is, you're taking care of it. Don't worry about it. So we have an exemption on our website, that you can use for that too. You can also, like with the medical records and stuff, you could have your doctor write a note. As of this date, my child is up to date with medical care and immunizations, signed this doctor. And file that with your paperwork too. That retains the privacy of your child while getting the point across to the school district. So that has come up a little bit more. School districts are asking more for those types of information. I think it's coming from the federal level to the school districts to be requesting that information more. So those are ways that you could handle that. So, and I got a reminder, I forgot about this, but the Pennsylvania Department of Education actually has a website with resources for homeschoolers, and we're listed there. So if you have any public school friends who are looking around for homeschool information on the PDE, we are listed there. You can find us on the Homeschool Helps page. I do find that the PDE, sometimes the way they interpret law is different than what the law says. So it's very interesting, the relationship between the Department of Education and homeschooling and public schooling, because the law between the two is different, and some people don't know that. The public school law actually is not the same as the homeschool law. The requirements for homeschoolers is actually different than the requirement for public school students. So that's just an interesting tidbit for you to know. So if you wanted to see where we were listed on the PDE, I will read it to you. It's this big, crazy, long URL. It's education.pa.gov/K-12/home home space education + private tutoring /pages /support -groups -and -resources.aspx. I don't know if you're going to find it using what I just read to you, but we are out there in case you are interested in finding us on the PDE. So that wraps up all my questions. It was a light month for questions, but we're happy to help you. Again, all of those law-related things are out on homeschoolpennsylvania.org. And if you check out our YouTube channel has this great law playlist. So you can find all the videos on homeschoolpennsylvania.org. But if you go to our YouTube channel, there are various playlists that I put all the videos out in. I haven't gotten them all put out there yet, but there's a law playlist. You can just go there and get boom, 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 all these videos. And every time we do stuff about the law that kind of gives a little bit more, sheds more light on things or whatever, I put it in there so that, whatever topic you're looking for, it's out there. And we are there to clear the muddy waters for you. So hopefully that is helpful to you. Again, like I said at the beginning, if you have a little testimonial you would love to share about how CHAP has supported you, whether it's a one-liner or a little story you want to share, we would love to hear from you. So you could please comment here, comment if you're on YouTube, if you're listening to this on a podcast, please make a comment. Let us know what you're thinking. Send us an email at staff@chaponline.com. We would love to hear from you, and we will probably share your testimony online because we want others to hear how you are being encouraged. And if there's a topic that you'd love to have addressed, let me know. I'm constantly looking for things to talk about. I'm looking to have someone on to talk about IEPs, hopefully in December. So yeah, we just keep moving forward and rolling along. So we're here to help you and support you, encourage you and equip you and connect you. And we look forward to a wonderful holiday season coming up. And I hope you enjoy this holiday season as you train your children to follow Christ in all of life. Because, hey, that's why we're doing what we're doing. Love Him with our whole hearts and teach our children to do the same. So have a great day and have a great week. And I will see you back here next Tuesday. Bye-bye.